there and welcome back to my channel. So today we have a super exciting haul. As you can see from the title, I am really excited to get my hands on these. There's three fragrances, and one is not a blind buy, which anytime I don't have a blind buy in my fragrance hauls, that's a big moment. So I just realized I haven't even taken off the cellophane, so you're gonna be hearing some of that, unfortunately. But yeah, I got these last night and I've been waiting to film this video, to film it for you guys so I could smell them. So without further ado, if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe and let's get into it. We're gonna start with the only one that I do know what I'm getting in for, but I've never owned. So this is a Dior fragrance. It's J'adore, just the eau de parfum, and it's in the 50 ml. Believe it or not, I've never owned this. I do remember when it came out, I think in 99, I think is when it came out. I do remember Charlize Theron is the face of this fragrance. And I just remember her dress. I love fragrance commercials. Some can be odd, but most of the time I do really like them, and I really do remember this one. So there was like a year or two period where growing up my mom wore this, but she hasn't worn it in a very long time, and it never became like a signature for her. So I don't associate it like with just her, and I decided to pick it up. So this has a whole lot of notes listed, and honestly, when I was reading them, I couldn't believe there were so many, because from what I remember of the scent, like it was just a really nice kind of like fruity, like slightly fruity white floral, and this has so many notes that I wasn't expecting. So this has pear, melon, magnolia, peach, orange, bergamot, jasmine, lily of the valley, tuberose, freesia, rose, orchid, plum, violet, musk, vanilla, blackberry, and cedar. And I was just really surprised. Like, I don't remember it smelling like melon or peach or tuberose at all. Definitely not plum, like blackberry. I don't remember any of these notes from what I remember the scent being, but it has been several years. So this is what she looks like. I think she's a classic now. There was like a good portion of time where everyone smelled like this. So yeah, I actually don't mind that I'm late to the game, because I don't think I would have liked it at that point when everyone was wearing it. And I'm glad I waited. So let's just rediscover her. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's definitely coming back to me. I guess it is more fruity than I thought. I didn't realize it was so fruit forward. It does kind of smell a little bit like the peach and red jeans. I don't know if I'm crazy, but it does. Definitely has freesia. And I'm not a fan of freesia. But if you like freesia, this is, I mean, I think at the time it was released, this was a big thing. Now when you smell it, obviously it still smells like the classic J'adore, but I think there's just been so many releases that are in the fruity white floral family that this if it were to be released today, just wouldn't have the kind of cachet that it did, obviously, in 99. I'm happy I own it. I think it's a classic, and I'm really happy I have it as part of my collection. And there's that kind of nostalgia of the, I guess, late 90s, but really just like the aughts, which were a bulk of the years of like when I was growing up. So there is that aspect to it. The only thing I want to mention is, like, I feel as though had there not been that nostalgia, this would not be the kind of scent I'd be drawn to. In all honesty, it is somewhat reminding me of Red Jeans, and I don't know why, by Versace, which is a fragrance I kind of can't stomach. And it has a lot of freesia, which always just takes me to like the Bath & Body Works freesia body gel story. I think I've told you guys, but it's like nice, but it's the kind of nice that had it not had the level of nostalgia, I would find it a little bit too safe or not really my vibe. I will say, I think it stood the test of time because of the very fact that it is safe and kind of smells pretty much the same on everyone. And if you don't know someone's taste, like I think this is getting to be like old now, but yeah, I'm just happy to have it as part of my collection. I wouldn't necessarily like recommend it for someone who's like really into getting the next best thing, or like something super youthful, or something like super like gourmand or specific or unique. It's none of those things, but there was a level of nostalgia, and I'm happy to just have like a 50 ml as part of my collection. I do really like the bottle. I've always liked the bottle. I think it's unique, and it's a really nice one to have on your kind of like beauty table or wherever you keep your fragrances. So without further ado, we've got that one out of the way. We can get to the exciting blind buys. I always find blind buys more exciting. I'm crazy like that, I know. Most people do as I say, not as I do, unless you're like me. So we're gonna get to the Guerlain. The next two are technically men's fragrances that I'm choosing to believe are unisex, and one of them is universally thought as unisex, I think, at this point. So this is Guerlain's L'Homme Idéal, but it's the eau de parfum. So the eau de cologne I already own, and it's like everyone and their mother owns it and everyone loves it. And apparently this is like also a really good one in the range. I think there's 4 in this L'Homme Idéal range. I'm not sure, but I've always been, ever since that one really worked out for me. I'm sorry, this is why I always take off the cellophane before the videos. Ever since the eau de cologne really worked out for me, and it's gotten discontinued, so it's really hard to find now. I've been curious about the others, but not ever curious enough to actually try it out. And this time I saw this one in person and I was like, oh, can't pass up. So this has a lot of notes that are up my alley. This has almond, spices, lavender, bergamot, rosemary, thyme, vanilla, incense, cherry, rose, leather, tonka, and sandalwood. So I'm very excited. I'm excited also that I've heard like it definitely smells different than the eau de cologne. Each one has its own scent, and they're not just different kind of strengths of the same scent. I do hate when houses do that. I have mentioned that. I just like name it something else, but yeah, it even has a different colored juice. It's very dark. That one's like blue and white and like a really light kind of clear juice. So let's discover her together, and I'll try to be as open and honest about how unisex I think it is, because everything for me is unisex, but I know that's not the case for all of you. Ooh, oh my God, I love this. There is definitely like a spiced almond cherry to this, which I love. And it's very, like, it's smoky and incensey. Oh my God, I love it. No, it's definitely unisex. It's definitely unisex. I would say if I had to, it's hard to say. Maybe the eau de cologne is like a dash more unisex because it's more citrus and fresh heavy. And this, yeah, this might be a little bit more male leaning, but honestly, like, who doesn't like a spicy almond cherry? Everyone, I think anyways. Yeah, I love the incense on this. It's sweet without being sickly. Oh, I love this. I absolutely love this. Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a really nice one, especially for fall. Maybe that one's more spring, summer, the eau de cologne. This one's more fall, winter. Because there's a warmth to it. There's a definite like spice, slight cinnamon, incensey, like vanilla tonka with some sweetness, and obviously that almond cherry. Oh my God, I love it. And the bergamot, I think, just adds like a touch of freshness, because there's definitely bergamot in the eau de cologne, but that's way more pronounced. No, I really love this. Oh my God. Yeah, no, it's love at first sniff for sure. So that's L'Homme Idéal Eau de Parfum, Eau de Parfum by Guerlain. And for me right now, that is ticking all the boxes. All right, and lastly, I took off the cellophane on this one because I can't stand the noise. I'm sorry about the other two, but this one was so exciting to find on sale, because finding a Chanel fragrance on sale is a near impossible feat. And this one was on sale at Costco, so I was like dying to find it. And here she is, or he is, I should say, because it is a men's cologne, but I'm rolling with it. So this is Platinum Égoïste pour Homme. It's the eau de toilette. I think there's only an eau de toilette on this. I might be wrong. And it's by Chanel. This is the 50 ml. I have always been curious about this. Not always, but I've been curious about this for the past like year or two, because someone, and I forget who, had it as part of their collection, and I'd just seen the bottle and I'd read about it. Maybe it was a blog post or something, but anyways, I was curious. I was like, oh, I like the name. The bottle's very like kind of old school, but I'm into it. And anyways, the notes are just, it has lavender, neroli, which are two of my favorite notes. So we'll see. I think this is definitely going to be a lot more male leaning, but I'm down for it. So this has lavender, rosemary, neroli, petitgrain, geranium, clary sage, galbanum, jasmine, vetiver, cedar, oak moss, sandalwood, and amber. Here is what it looks like. See what I mean? It's just very like simple and classic. It kind of looks like an old school cologne for men. And I don't know, I guess it was like the combination of just having it in the back of my mind. Like if I ever see it obviously on a deal, then I will pick it up. And I did. So this one is the one I'm most nervous about for sure, but let's hope it's just a win, just as much of a win as the Guerlain. Oh, okay. This is reminding me of something. It's definitely green. I feel like if you're familiar with oak moss, which I've heard they can't put in fragrances anymore, like in the EU. That's why a lot of like Dior and Chanel fragrances have had to be reformulated. I don't know if this is like an old one, but I definitely smell like a sage, oak moss, very green, mossy scent. It is very green, and I feel like green fragrances are one of the family fragrances where I'm least inclined to reach for, but this is a nice one. There is just something slightly like aquatic about it, and I don't know what it would be that's like giving off that vibe, but personally, there is like oak moss can get slightly aquatic, and that's why I think I've even like read it somewhere where it's really hard to, when you take out oak moss in a fragrance, it's really hard to then find a note to replicate that scent, because it's not just aromatic, or it's not just green, or it's not just bitter. It like also can get aquatic, and it's hard to find something that can replicate that. Whereas like maybe if you take out vanilla, you could put in tonka, and yes, it's not the same thing, but you can try to find a replacement. Or you know, if you take out mandarin, you can put in bergamot. I mean, it's not going to be the same thing, obviously, but it's a very hard note to replicate. And it has a very complex like scent story or molecular. I'm obviously not a perfumer. Like it's a very complex note to work with. And that's why a lot of older classic fragrances had it, because it just like gave that quality to a fragrance. Obviously it's always included in like a Chypre fragrance or a fougère. There's going to be that oak moss. So then it even gets, you know, elevated. Anyways, fragrance history aside, because I go crazy on that stuff, but I definitely smell like an aquatic oak moss, which is kind of, again, gonna make it less likely for me to reach for it on a day-to-day basis, personally, to my nose. However, I love, like, it's as if this scent is kind of, as I'm smelling it, separating into two groups of notes while I'm smelling it, which has happened with me before with other scents, because there is that like green aquatic mossiness, and there's also, which isn't my vibe, but there's also like this really beautiful like petitgrain neroli, like lavender and rosemary. Like there's a really beautiful side to it that I do like, that's quite like cologne-y and like classic cologne-y, which I do really, really like. I love like barbershop fragrances and classic colognes and things that are thought of as being kind of ultra masculine. I'm very much for, and I love wearing them. I feel they're really fresh, especially with like crisp white shirts or like super, not super feminine clothing. I love wearing them. So it's like a duality that I'm gonna have to play around with a little bit more. I would say it is a nice gift for someone, even if you as a woman don't like to wear it. It is a really nice gift. It's one that I feel like a lot of people would like, and I just, there's something about this bottle that speaks to me. So that's Platinum Egoiste Eau de Toilette. I hope you enjoyed the little history lesson, and those were the fragrances. So if I had to put them in order, it's hard. I think in first place, I'm just gonna go in reversing order, because in first place, it's very easy. L'Homme Idéal Eau de Parfum by Guerlain is everything to me right now. I'm just over the moon. It definitely has like the kind of cherry that La Petite Robe Noire, the one I have, like La Petite Robe Noire, something exclusive or whatever, has to it, which makes sense. But this also is very like spiced and incensey, which I'm totally for. Then it gets harder, because between these two, I feel like this is more interesting to me because it's new, and on the days where I do get more of that lavender and neroli, like I'm gonna be more into this, but this is a safer bet, and I feel like I'd wear this more. So I'm just gonna give like a slight edge to Platinum Egoiste and put it in second place. At this point in my fragrance journey, like interesting is always going to have like a half a step ahead than safe, even if the safe is more safe for me to wear. So I'm just looking for things that I don't already own to a certain extent, because I have so many fragrances. So this is going to be in third place. I will definitely wear it. I'm really happy to have it as part of my collection. It's just, yeah, there's that element of just been there, done that kind of thing to it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this haul. This was a quick one and had a little bit of an oak moss history to it, but I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, don't forget to leave me in the comments below if you've tried any of these fragrances or you'd like to try them. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye.